Grand City is where millions of people call home. So when anyone or anything becomes a threat, it's my job to help. Sure, I've got my stories like any other hero. Saving the day, fighting the bad guy, but I've never had to be on a team. No one else is coming to rescue them. This is all on me. I am the Guardian of Grand City.
Hey everybody, I'm CJ, and I've been wanting to make this video for actually quite a while now. I mean, look at the date on this article. That should tell you something. Problem is, there's been illness going on. There's just been a lot of weird life stuff going on. And take today, for example. Today, there's a tropical storm bearing down on me, and I've got a few more hours before it hits, and an unexpected pocket of free time, so I'm going to go ahead and go for it here, and hopefully I can get through this. We'll just have to see how we do. But before we get into that, one of the things that I probably need to do is give you guys an update about the Guardian of Grand City and goings on with that. Basically, the original plan that I had was to launch the campaign for it last weekend. But last weekend, somebody else launched their crowdfunding campaign. I got wind of that kind of early on, and I knew they'd blow me out of the water, and I risked getting completely overlooked because honestly, a lot of it comes down to that initial launch, and if you don't have a good launch, then it gets a lot harder. So there was that. Then this past weekend, again, found out that a tropical storm was going to be bearing down on us, and I thought, maybe this isn't the best time for me to launch a crowdfunding campaign. So we're just going to have to figure this out, play it by ear. I'll be sure to let you guys know when the Guardian of Grand City Indiegogo launches, but at least for right now, I'm thinking I need to cool it on that. But to get into the matter at hand, one of the things that a lot of people seem to know, but they don't, I don't know if they completely grasp, is the fact that with SJWs, everything is political and everything must be political. And it's not that SJWs inject politics into everything that they do. I mean, they do. But you need to understand that politics is that's the foundation from which they do anything or say anything or think anything. It's basically the cornerstone of their entire worldview. In the same way that some really deeply religious people, like everything in their life, everything about their worldview, it always goes back to their religion. Same thing with SJWs. Everything always goes back to their politics. And so a normal, clinically sane person might see an image of Superman breaking chains and think, oh, well, that's a cool image of Superman breaking chains. With SJWs, it can never be that simple. Everything needs to have a political dimension to it. And in the case of Superman breaking chains, there are now two separate, although probably totally imaginary, but two separate political dimensions to just this aesthetic of Superman breaking chains. And I'll give Rich Johnston some kind of credit here. He does correctly say that the image of Superman breaking chains, that goes back basically to day one with the character. I mean, this goes back a really long way. And so kudos there, but still got to deduct points for how he processes all that. Basically, he says that the reason that we keep seeing images of Superman breaking chains is because, these days they're known as DC Comics. they want to protect their patent, which their patent includes, among other things, the visual of Superman breaking chains. Now, I'm no attorney, but I've worked for and with a lot of different attorneys in my life, and I'm really not sure how strong a patent this really is. The idea, like the visual of a character breaking chains, not really sure that's something that you can patent. But even if you can, I mean, honestly, like most of your protection is going to come down to the fact that Superman is a trademarked character. So the image of Superman breaking chains probably is protected by some kind of patent because DC owns the trademark on Superman. But the idea that you can't show a character breaking chains in a similar way that Superman's been shown breaking chains over the decades, I, for one, just don't buy that. So we'll see if I'm right. I mean, sooner or later, this is going to become an issue if DC ever has to protect this patent, if they ever have to defend it in court. But put me down right now as a skeptic. I'm just not sure this is a very strong patent outside of the obvious trademark that DC has on Superman. But none of that's really the point. The point is, the political dimension, number one, comes down to Calvin Ellis breaking chains, because of course it does. You need to have Super Obama breaking chains. That's got to be the first modern, or relatively recent anyway, image of Superman breaking chains. You have to start there, because otherwise you're racist. So Rich Johnston, in an effort to prove that he is not racist, and I'm sure he's not, starts off his column with the image of Super Obama breaking chains. But then from there, we get this history of different images of Superman breaking chains. And again, because everything needs to go back to something political. Well, we've got the race issue of Super Obama right here. But sort of moving beyond that, Johnston's overall point is that the original image of Superman breaking chains, basically what it comes down to is Marxist symbolism and also something slavery. And again, this is the cornerstone of SJW thinking. You can't possibly have an image of a superhero or a fictional character doing something cool specifically because of the fact that it looks cool or that it demonstrates their powers, or in this case, Superman's strength. Look, a cigar is never a cigar when it comes to SJWs. Everything has to have some kind of overtly Marxist sort of filter that it's run through, because again, I mean, I've said this in previous videos, but ultimately what they're trying to do is create a sort of uniparty political hegemony where the only acceptable political viewpoint that you can express in public is theirs. And so if they sort of meme this idea into reality that anything and everything is political, or in this case, the image of Superman breaking chains is inherently Marxist, and this goes all the way back to his very early origins, then you, as the person who wants nothing to do with Marxism or communism, or for that matter, any other ism, you're obviously the weirdo, at a minimum. And it may even be that, you know what? Maybe superheroes aren't for you. See, this is kind of like a weird, I can't even call it reverse gatekeeping. It's just gatekeeping. And I'm of the opinion that stronger gatekeeping 20 years ago might have spared us a lot of the bullshit like this that we see here today, but we can't go back in time and do things differently 20 years ago. Nevertheless, this was just something that I thought was mildly interesting. I at least wanted to throw it out there. The takeaway lesson here really is that, number one, you have to start a column like this with an image of Super Obama, because otherwise you're racist, and I'm sure Rich Johnston is not. And number two, the image itself, in a more generic sense, this aesthetic of Superman breaking chains, It's really Marxist symbolism, and it basically goes all the way back to Superman's very earliest beginnings, and if you think otherwise, well, you're other. So, anyway, that's basically that's that. Thank you for watching. Subscribe, make sure you're still subscribed, comment, like, and share this video because it really helps me out. Also, you can find me on Twitter at Cole Loves Comics.